welcome you all back to Saturday night. And this episode is going to be Saturday night with Bonnie Sclar, a good friend of mine. And once again, we're going to be discussing this topic of how to improve the singles world. First of all, hi, Bonnie.
Hello. Hi, Ari.
How are you?
Good.
Good. So, we know each other because I was in the singles world for a little while, and we have family friends and friends. And I'm a big fan of Bonnie. Bonnie's a great person. And the two of us, we're still trying to figure out why she's still single. And it always seems to come back to this same challenge that something is off out there, whether it's the way people interact, whether it's the way matchmakers set people up, whether it's the manners or lack of a system in place, as opposed to, let's say, at work or in another system where things make sense. What do you think we can do to improve this overall situation where there are so many amazing people, such as yourself, that would love to be in a relationship or marriage? And what are your thoughts?
I'm thinking the same thing that you are every single day. I don't know what's going on. It could be a lack of spirituality in people, in the soul. I don't know. It just could be it could be something like maybe it's not my time in God's time, maybe I'm just I do have a daughter with special needs, and I do give her and caretake her, and she has a lot of challenges sometimes, but we've been through a lot of obstacles, and I feel like I'm pretty, through it, whatever the hard times were, getting her stabilized, and just going through a lot of, different things to learn about special needs as she gets older and different, stages of her life. And just getting through COVID, which was like very traumatizing, and nobody could, see each other or be with each other. And I think that was it. I'm also thinking that it has a lot to do with the fact that we're very internet, like we're so much of using internet, and we're not going out and meeting people personally. I think that's a big.
That's interesting. My father said it's like a throwaway society. He said that when he was a kid, if he was interested in a girl, he had to hope to God that their neighbor had a phone, and then he would hope to God that his neighbor would let them use his phone. And there was so much energy put involved that, you didn't just throw someone away. Whereas over here, you can just click left. So I think that is very, very true. And also included in that is that people can pump themselves up. Everybody has their own little soapbox where they feel like they're the stud, because you're always going to find somebody that chases after you, because that's just how life is. There's always somebody chasing somebody, and you're making some super valid points. You also mentioned to me in a conversation that something I've heard so many times, people who get involved and they spend your time and they get to know you, and you feel like you're getting somewhere, and all of a sudden they're just gone. And it's almost cruel. It's a complete insensitivity for another person. And sometimes you can't even blame them, because they learned that from their experience or from their hurt and their pain. So you can't even be mad at them. You can only learn to have a thicker skin for yourself while trying to be vulnerable enough to be available. That's tricky, isn't it?
I agree. There's a lot of people who are not emotionally available out there, for so many reasons. It could be past trauma, it could be childhood trauma, it could be just things, in general with life that happen. Past relationships could make them avoidant and fearful of a next relationship. And people that are not really doing soul searching and working on themselves. But those are some things that I find, but I have come across the word ghosting.
Yeah.
And, right. And ghosting is, it's like, wait, what? Just talking to you last week, what happened, and then all of a sudden, no word, no texting, no nothing. And I'm not one for really texting constantly. I like just texting once a week or talking once a week and just getting, to know someone and not doing it like I almost feel like if somebody texts every day or say, hi, good morning, it's almost like invading privacy, invading someone's privacy. That's how I feel. I don't know how some people may really like it, but yeah. So
you have to learn how to get along with your future partner. These are things that are individual. It's interesting. Friend of mine, a young lady who's in camp, is it's first day or two of camp in the summer, and she's super, super homesick. And these things are so hurtful. The way the other kids, they're mean or they are cold. And it's like, when you talk about ghosting, I'm connecting. Here you are, a full-grown woman, and there I'm having conversation with a kid, and we're all vulnerable. And people don't realize that they can really, really hurt somebody's feelings. And when you ghost somebody, they're left wondering, was it me? What did I do? Was I not pretty enough? Was I not kind enough? Should I change this or that? And meanwhile, it could just be that the other guy is just an a-hole. And you're just awesome, but it's tough.
It could be that or it could be they're very busy, they could have a lot of work. Some people don't look at their phones every second, which I agree with, but then again, just check, if the person's not interested, I would say, just say, I'm not interested, that's totally fine, and not to ignore the person and just like say, well, but I would definitely just be upfront and tell the person, listen, there's no chemistry or whatever it is. And just be like a mensch, just to say, this is the way it is. This is the way I feel. And then just move on,
I think the thing is that you're very rational, and a lot of men are, and sometimes women are guilty of this also, of keeping somebody in reserves to pump their own confidence. If they know, Bonnie's there, whatever level the relationship is or isn't, they can be more confident. And like I said, it's not nice. But, people have different ways of making it through their singles life. So.
True. I agree. It's not easy out there. It's not easy.
No, it's not. It is absolutely not. I'm with you. 11 and a half years of misery that my wife saved me from. I think that one of the biggest tools, as I've mentioned before, that is so underused is the Shabbos table. I think personally that people need to invite singles more often. They need to be cognizant of it. How many times in 11 and a half years people said, you're always welcome. My father had this joke. He said, Americans will invite you, but they won't give you the address. You're always welcome. If every single person that ever told me that I was always welcome called me twice in those 11 years, I would have felt busy. I would have felt good about myself. But more importantly, that's a great place to meet people, And to me, I think it's just the ultimate matchmaker, let people bump into each other. I understand that in Judaism, we are a religion of, being conservative and being appropriate, but don't confuse fakeness for religion. And there's nothing wrong with introducing people. So, I mean, that's just my gripe. I get passionate about that. People can do something. They shouldn't say, oh, you need a better matchmaker, you need to go to better singles events. No, you need to open your home and welcome people. And don't just say you're always welcome here. That doesn't mean anything. We don't like those comments. It means nothing. I'm not going to show up at somebody's home without them inviting me. And I would imagine you feel similar.
Yes, I do, Ari. What I'm thinking when you're talking about this is community and like people just getting together. And I think the whole thing is that so many people are so busy with life that nobody could like kind of coordinate schedules. And I think like somebody says, yeah, oh yeah, come over. And then all of a sudden something comes up and then, you know what I'm saying? And I'm thinking that it's more of getting more people together, not just like one person or two people. I think it's more like of a community situation that just has to be done. I know that there's some single events that they do in hotels, like for weekend events. Do I
Right.
think that's appropriate? Maybe not.
Right.
I don't think it's appropriate, but they do that. But I'm thinking maybe some like forms of kumsitz, like getting together, Motzi Shabbos, and just having like kumsitz, renting out a place and just talking and chatting. I know that there's some like online things that you can do. Again, we're talking about online, but people are in different locations, like some people are in New York, some people are in New Jersey, Florida, Israel, and if you want to get together and know people and you want to bring the community together in all different, places, then going, through the media and stuff, internet may be an idea as well. But
Great idea. I really like that. That's super smart because you have Hatzalah, you have Shomrim, you have all these different organizations. Have a proper organization because you're right. These singles events, they either often, not always, but often they either go off the rails or they attract a crowd that is like the uncool or the uninteresting crowd. So then everybody else won't show up. Whereas if you make it an event that is an event to come to, that is a brilliant idea. I'm actually going to call some friends and see what we can do to try to start something like that. I think it's a wonderful idea. Thank you.
sure. I've been on some singles events, like they rent, they go and they do the boating thing. That was really nice. Just that, it's kind of, you're kind of stuck. If there's somebody that makes you feel uncomfortable, you have to sit on the other side of the boat or whatever. That's another
and
thing.
also these events, it's very difficult. Like when I used to go to singles events, this is going to sound weird. I used to go there to meet guys, not girls, meaning it was a great place to make friends. But you're not going to meet a girl. How are you going to meet a girl? She's sitting there with 3 friends. You go to any dating coaching site, they tell you rule number 1, never approach a girl when she's in a herd because it is more important for her not to look foolish in front of her friends than to entertain the possibility of this 1 in a billion guy being her future husband. So yeah, these singles events by their nature are usually pretty poisonous. But so you need the community I love that idea. You need the community get more involved, not just the Shabbos table, but I like it. Thank you, Bonnie. I like it.
Sure. I like the old fashioned Hineni with Rebbitzin Esther Younggrace, what she used to do. She used to do Torah classes together. And I think that's a wonderful idea actually, to bring people together.
To a higher purpose.
Yes.
Love it.
Because then there's the spiritual, there's real Torah there, it's like real Judaism in the works. And like, if anybody is going to bring anybody's bashert, it's going to be God, right? It's going to be Hashem. So like, why not bring that? I just like the way Robinson Young Rice had her.
Thank you. We could talk for hours. I just don't want to make the video too long so that people are not interested in watching it, because I think you have a lot to offer. And just as a side, if you happen to be interested in Bonnie, in the description below, there is going to be a way to reach her through my email address that I use for this purpose. You can always comment. We're more than happy to hear what you guys have to say, men or women. Comment, comment, comment. We'd love to hear from you guys. Thank you so much, Bonnie.
Thanks, Ari. Thanks for having me.